Summer is upon us and I am here to do a little eyeshadow palette roundup. I have brought together a few of the things that not only I'm hoping that this sort of like inspires you to pull out of your collection, but in all honesty, reminds me that I should do the same. If you were like me, you probably have some makeup that you tend to only pull out in certain seasons, whether that's because it works better with your skin type during that season, or whether it's like, oh, this works better when I'm fair or when I'm tan, or any of those things. I know that like I forget about things. I'm specifically thinking about one blush that I always pull out in the summertime because it's like, it's quite deep, it's quite red, and I'm like, yeah, this for me works best in the summer. And then I forget about it in the summer, and it isn't until the winter that I'm like, oh, I never wore that. This is a side note. Welcome to my channel. So this is a side note because it's like, I hate doing that. I hate forgetting about some of the makeup that I have that I really want to wear. So I thought that this would be a good reminder for us to pull out some of these eyeshadow palettes. Let's see, most of them are still available. Some are new, some are not so new. And I've got a little variety here, whether you're a colorful lover, a neutral lover, I think I've got a little bit of it all. So we're gonna dive into this in just a second. But if we haven't met before, my name is Kelly and I'm a professional hair and makeup artist. And here on my channel, I strive to keep beauty real. Real honest, real relatable, and real fun. So if that sounds like something you'd enjoy, don't forget to click subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos, like more eyeshadow palette roundups. And boy, do I have quite a few eyeshadows, quite a few eyeshadow palettes sitting here to get through with you. So let's get into this. The first one is one of my recent purchases. This is the Patrick Ta Major Dimension 2 palette. You've probably seen it all over the YouTube sphere. I did a video, was it 2 looks with this? I think it was. I'll post it down below, but this is such a beautiful palette. I think that this is really gonna be a beautiful, like, hot summer nights vibe. You can also get, you know, some little bit lighter, easy, pretty looks out of this. I love this one. I'm definitely gonna be reaching for this. Now, if you saw the video where I used this, you will know that this was a total impulse slash FOMO buy. Like, I was definitely influenced by some friends, and I'm glad that I got it. So I'm definitely gonna be pulling out this summer. So let's move into something a bit more colorful. I wanted to talk about this one because I saw right now Glam Shop is doing a sale. It's like up to 50% off. I do think that the Laguna palette is in here, but I also saw that they are selling singles from the Laguna palette because I think honestly they're like discontinuing it. It said something like end of a series in the website. So if you have this palette and maybe you love it so much that you're like hitting pan on a shade and you want to try to like find that shade on the website, or if you like the looks of this palette but you're not sure that you would use them all, you might be able to do that because they did have it listed as singles. But I think I've talked about this in a video before, but I'm bringing it back in because they are on sale right now. I don't know if the sale will still be going when I get this video up, but I did want to mention it in case you were looking to get it before it goes away forever. So this, of course, is these beautiful aquas. You've got some teal, some peach. This is such a nice one. This is totally, to me, summertime vibes, like color story. I think for me, like, this is totally spring, summer. I don't think I would ever like pull this out in the fall or winter, other than maybe to like do like a deep smoky eye with these teals here because they're very pretty. But like, this is one that I absolutely have to pull out in the summertime or else she's never gonna get used. So this is both for you and for me. So here we have one that honestly recently I've been underutilizing, and it's because it's like kind of stuck down in this little area inside of my vanity, like inside in between the drawers, because it's so big. This is the Blend Bunny Blends palette. I mean, it's not like it's a ginormal palette, but it is pretty big because it has everything you could possibly want. And the thing I like about this is when you first look at it, it's like, whoa, rainbow. And yes, absolutely, 100%, that's exactly what it is. But you could also get some fairly soft looks. You can get some fairly neutral looks. You can get leaning towards pastel. This is such an amazing palette. Blend Bunny quality is great. Like, definitely reach for any of their palettes if you have them. But I think, you know, here you've got some neutrals that you could totally pull out. You obviously have, like I said, these lighter pinks and purples. You've got a few light, like minty aqua blues. So if you want to stay on the lighter side, you can. But if like summertime is all about you reaching for some color, like these yellows, ooh, I need to definitely pull this one out. How have I not used that? Oh, it looks like I have, but I don't know if I've just swatched it. Like I said, this has been an underutilized palette. This is the most recent Blend Bunny palette to my collection, and I definitely need to pull this one in. I also thought this would be a great one if you, like me, enjoy pulling out your fun single shadows, this is a great accompaniment because you could totally just use like one color, blow it out with one of the blending shades, and then like tap a beautiful single shimmer shifty something over the top. I think that this is a great accompaniment palette, and I'm just needing to remind myself, pull it out. So this one is going to be kept on top of my vanity for a while so that I can remember to pull it out because I definitely need to utilize it this season. All right, let's get into something a little bit teenier and tinier. This is one, I think I might have actually talked about this in a fall palettes video, but this is the Wet n Wild color icon in the shade Go Commando. So these shades, these like coppery, goldy, rich, warm tones, to me are both great for fall and for summer. Because to me, if you're just looking for like quick, sexy, warm eye, a little bit of bronzer or a lot of bit of bronzer, depending on who you are, and like a sheer lip gloss, this would totally get you there. I love this. I mean, this is also so tiny that you could just like chuck it in your bag, travel with it pretty easily. I also have to say, like, this gold shade that's in here is fairly unique. Well, okay, maybe it's not unique. I don't know that there's a shade in the world that's unique anymore, but this one is almost like an old gold, like tarnished gold almost. It doesn't have a shift, but it has a little something to it. I really like it. I think that these are still available, and of course super affordable because it's Wet n Wild. Okay, dipping into some more color, let's bring out the Nomad Cosmetics Paradise Islands palette. I love this one. I did do a video with 2 or 3 looks. I think it was 3 looks, but this is such a pretty summer palette. This one I called like pastel with a pop. Like, to me, if you love a good like summer bright shadow, but you also enjoy some of these like lighter, softer shades, this is the perfect palette for you. I really love this. I think that, you know, there's so much opportunity with this color story in here. This is a great one to like get that like tropical, beachy feel, and I love this. And it's just so cute. It totally like, it just makes me think of summer, vacation, like, being by the water, by the beach. Like, I love this palette, and if you have it in your collection, make sure you pull it out this season. All right, let's dip back into those neutrals. We're talking hot summer nights again. This is the Vive Essential palette. So this palette, of course, I mean, it is your basic quintessential warm nudes palette. When I tried this one out on my channel, I did feel like the shimmers in here, I definitely need to use with like a glitter glue because they do have a little bit of like micro sparkle that it just tends to fall out for me, but if I use a glitter glue, it's fine. The mattes in here though, the mattes in here are where it's at. I love this. Like, I could totally see just doing a very quick, easy, like date night, smoky eye, a little warm, like, I really like this palette. I mean, you could actually, this seems really crazy to be pairing Vive with Wet n Wild, but you totally could pull out the shimmers in here if you want a little bit more options than what you just have in here. This is honestly one that I haven't pulled out in a little bit. And again, I'm trying to remind myself to pull this one out because I think on those days where I'm just like, I sit down and I'm like, what should I use? What should I use? This is one that I need to just grab for because the mattes blend beautifully. They blend easily. Even if I'm not going to use the shimmers in here, again, I can quickly grab for another shimmer, but the shimmers in here, now that I know I need to use a glitter glue, I really do enjoy this palette, and it just makes you feel fancy, and there's something to that. All right, another quick and easy grab and go palette that I want to remind you to pull out if you have it in your collection is the Soleil La Plage palette. This is from Viseart, and this is actually a recent purchase. I got this in the recent Viseart sale. I do have a video on my whole haul, and I did use this to create a look. Now, I will say this is a fairly like soft palette. The shimmers in here are a good like basic easy to use shimmer, but they're not going to be like blinding. You're not going to have to like hand out sunglasses to your friends when you're like walking down the street because it's not going to be like that ba-bam. Although I tell you what, I was impressed with this little aqua shade here. But this again is going to be one, if you have it in your collection, remember to pull it out this summer. This is going to be that like, oh, I just want something like easy, breezy, summer vibes, and this is going to get you there. We are team use my stuff up in here, right? This channel is, yes, all about like the new, the fun, the sparkly, the attention grabbing, but it really is also a place where I'm trying to remind you to use the makeup you have and to remind myself to use the makeup I have. So if you have this one, pull it out this summer. This is obviously the perfect season to pull this one out. I am definitely going to grab it on those situations where I'm like, I just need a little something quick. This is going to be a great one for that. Okay, 2 more palettes, and this first one might sort of seem unexpected at first, but let's talk about this. So this is the Pat McGrath Mothership Mega Celestial Odyssey palette. So this was last year's holiday palette from Pat, of course, and I mean, look at this. This to me is totally summer vibes. Like you have some beautiful like peachy pinks in here. You've got a couple like turquoisey colors. I mean, this green, totally in the summer. Yes, on tan skin, you bet. If you love a good gold, you of course know that Mama Pat has to put a gold in here. So this one to me is honestly one that I think I will use more in the summertime than I will in the wintertime when it launched. So I definitely need to pull this one out. You've got a beautiful bronze shade in here too. Like this to me is just totally summertime vibes. So I'm definitely, again, reminding myself to pull this one out. I love the Mothership Mega Palettes. I love both of them. I know a lot of people sort of like poo-poo on the first one because of the packaging, but I love the shades in there as well. But I do think this one has a little bit more like usable, wearable, everybody shades, but they are beautiful and they're great for summer. So get this one out. You had to know that I was going to throw this one in here. This is the Solmana 2 palette from Odin's Eye. So I just recently did a review on this whole collection. Well, I didn't grab quite the whole collection, but quite a few different things. And this is the palette here. So this is totally summer in, it's summer in a palette. Now, this gives me a little bit of the vibes of the Paradise Islands palette, but the thing about this one is you do have a few more deepening options. However, I didn't get a chance to say this in the video because I was like waiting on the wear test of my second look, but I did notice that these shadows faded a little bit more when I wore them with just concealer on my eyes like I normally do. So I do feel like this is a palette that you really need to make sure to pull out a long wear eye primer with, or at least I do. That's just something that I found. But that being said, I think that the colors in here are beautiful. I do think that this duochrome could have been better. It's really pretty much just glitter in my opinion. It's just very, very fine glitter. So I don't love that one as much, but the rest of this is great. I think that the color story is gorgeous. I think it's just a little bit more fussy than what I'm normally used to from Odin's Eye. But that is okay. I still love the color story. I just know that I definitely need to use it with like a long wear gripping primer. I think that for me, that's gonna help with the longevity and also the build ability of these shadows. So I have to put this one in here. I of course just got it. I'm sure a lot of you got it as well. So like I said, I'm putting this one in not as like an afterthought, but more as like a, we're in the beginning of our relationship, but I'm definitely still going to enjoy going on a couple dates with it this summer. All right, that was a fun way to start my day, to get to talk to you about all the eyeshadow I want to use this summer. I better get going. We've got, what was that, 8 palettes? I think that was around 8 palettes. So I am hoping that this inspired you to pull out some of the palettes in your collection. You'll have to let me know, do you have any of these in your like summer rankings? Are you going to be pulling these out? Is there one that I'm missing that maybe I should be looking for in my collection that you think is like the perfect summer palette? I always love having conversations with all of you down in the comments. So please let me know your thoughts down below. And if you did enjoy this video, please don't forget to give it a like on your way out, but that is it. I will see you really soon.